Hello, children. Um, Man, it's good to see a bunch of you guys today popping on the Google Classroom and getting a chance just to talk. And even if it wasn't much for answering questions, it was just good to see some of you guys. Anytime that y'all want to, please jump on those things and just say hello and let me find out how it's going. Find out about your college and just like to check in on you, even if you don't have a stats question. What my plan is tonight, guys, or today, or for you guys today, is I'm going to go through each one of these questions. Now, unfortunately, the order that I go in may or may not be the order that you go in. So if you kind of see the top of it, it says dog park, and that's kind of how these questions are titled, is basically by what they go by. Next time, I won't do random order. That was like a default, and I just went with it, I guess, or something. Anyway. And if we keep doing this, or if you guys think this is a benefit or what we can do to make it benefit, I'm starting to work up my own type review. But this was something that I just started to do and kind of want to see how it was. More than anything, I wanted to see if you guys could get on this AP classroom. That's going to be important for you to remember how to get onto that. And so if you get some practice at that, I think that's going to be very beneficial to you. What I'll do is in the description of the video, I'll title it. I'll put a timestamp, and then I'll have the title of the problem. I don't know if that's going to help you or not, but what that can do is you can hit the timestamp, and it will jump to that problem in the video, as opposed to you having to watch the entire video. Some of these questions you guys did really well with, and some were difficult, and some I could see why they were difficult. Sometimes it's a me issue, not explaining very well, and so that's why I want to go over these real quick. So, if you will, again, here's the dog park. Manager of a city recreation center wants to estimate the percentage of city residents who favor a proposal to build a new dog park. To gather data, the manager will select a random sample of city residents, which follow the most appropriate interval for the manager. A 1 samp z int for a sample. That will never be a good. We don't ever do this for a sample. We're always predicting to the population. So there's no way we're going to be doing this with a sample. Okay. Again, I think that's something you know, but probably not emphasized by me. But we are 95% confident that the true proportion, right, the population proportion, 1 samp z int for the population proportion. That looks like it. What we're doing, proportions. Manager wants to estimate the percent. So it's percents, 1 samp z int, 1 samp. So it's not a different. You'll never do a 1 samp z interval for a difference of two population. I mean, that has to be two. 2 samp, 2. And so it's 1 samp, and so it's B. All right. Answer is B. I don't get to click the answer. Well, maybe I just do like that. Okay. All right. B. Now I'm going to go to question number 2. Horseshoe crabs. Biologist wants to study horseshoe crabs and estimate the percent of crabs in a certain area that are longer. So percent longer than 35. The biologist sent a random sample measure. Which of the following is the most appropriate method? 1 samp z int for a population proportion. That looks good. 1 samp z for a sample. That's not good. We are 95% confident the true population proportion. 2 samp, 2 samp, 2 samp. So this one's A. Okay, 1 samp z int. All right. Third question. Unemployment. A random sample of 500 adults living in a large city was selected. 304 of them were conducted to get them on point. What is a standard error? Standard error for a proportion is the square root of p, 1 minus p over n. That's what it is. If we know p, we use p. If we don't know p, we have to use p hat. So we'll go back to this question real quick. 304 out of 500. That's all I have. So 304 out of 500 is 0.608, which is 0.61. So 0.61, 0.39, 500 sample size. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. That looks like it right there. Random sample of 500, so 500 your sample size. This can't be it. This is 304, which that's the number. That's not the proportion, so that's bad. This is bad because it's not a 304%. And this is bad because the entire thing is in the radical. Number 4, looks like we're finding the confidence interval. Alma is estimating. That's interesting. We have a city, Alma. Is estimating the proportion of students at her school who are past month read at least one book, a random sample of 50. 50, 50, 50, 50. They're all 50. She found that 32 read a book. So find a 90% confidence interval for the proportion. This is not it. This is not it. So it has to be one of these three. Proportion. It's a 90%, 1.645. This one's not it, and this one's not it. It has to be this one. I really didn't need to read that question. I guess I needed that, but rest of these, 32 is not a proportion. This is not proportions. This is means, which it's not even means. I mean, it's not. This is bad. Again, I'd emphasize a lot more and give you a lot more hints on multiple choices, but you're not going to see multiple choice on the test. All right, next one. Number 5. This is library improvements. A town council wants to estimate the proportion of residents who favor a proposal to upgrade computers in the library. A random sample of 100 residents was selected. 97 of those indicate they were in favor of the proposal. Is this appropriate to assume the sampling distribution of the sample proportion is approximately normal? There's that. That's that condition we talk about all the time. In order to prove that the sampling distribution is approximately normal for proportions, again, proportions, it's n times p and n times 1 minus p. So n times p is 0.97 and n times 1 minus p is 0.03. That's going to be too small. No, because the sample is not large enough to satisfy the normal conditions. That looks right. No, because the size of the population is not known. Well, darn right, the population is not known. That's why we do these things. Yes, because the sample was selected at random. That's good, but that's not why it's approximately normal. That doesn't have anything to do with approximately normal. Yes, because the sampling distribution of proportions is modeled with a normal model. No, I don't know that. Yes, because the sample is large enough to satisfy. It's not large enough. It needs to be larger. 97 times 0.97 is okay, but the complement is not. So the answer should be A. I believe that's right. A, that looks good. All right, next question. New design. A marketing representative wants to estimate the proportion of people in the state who like a new design of packaging in a certain cleaning product. The representative interviewed 100 people at random. 82 indicated that they like a new design. Have the conditions for creating a confidence interval for the population proportion been met? Yes, because the sample was selected at random. Yes, because the sampling distributions are with a normal model. Yes, because the sample is large enough to satisfy the normal conditions. No. Have the conditions for creating a confidence interval for the population proportion been met? You know what? I didn't read this real quick. Yes, because it was random. I don't know if that was right. Marketing representative wants to estimate the proportion of those who representative interviewed 100 people at a certain supermarket. Ooh, that's tight. So I had issues with that because it looked like it was approximately normal because 82 times 100 and 18 times 100, both of those are bigger than 10. So we were okay with that. So that's why this one looked okay. And that's why this one looked okay. So I started thinking and that's why this one I thought was okay because typically this one's always met. But it says a certain supermarket. No, I don't think that it's representative of all people in the state. Okay, not represented in all the states. So again, that's where you have to read really carefully. Okay. Interval width. Sue and Javier are working on a statistics project to estimate the proportion of students at the school who have a pet dog. Sue selects a random sample of 81 from the 2,400. Javier selects a sample of 64, so Javier's is lower than Sue. As the sample size increases, your interval decreases. What do y'all think about that hair? That's getting beautiful, isn't it? Wow. Consider the situation in which the sample proportion of Sue's sample is equal. What? Oh, the sample proportion is equal to Sue's sample. Okay, so the p-hats are the same. Which of the following statements correctly describe the intervals? Javier's interval will have a greater degree of confidence. No, they're both using a 90-degree confidence. No. Sue's interval will have a greater, no, they were the same. The width of Sue's interval will be the same. No, it won't be the same because Sue had a bigger sample size. The width of Sue's interval will be wider. No, the width of Sue's will be narrower because she has a bigger sample size than Javier. Number 8, width and margin of error. Suppose a 90% confidence interval to estimate the proportion was calculated from a sample proportion of 18% and a margin of error of 4%. What is the width of the confidence interval? That's kind of tricky. So we have a p hat of 0.18 and your margin of error of 0.04. And they want the confidence interval. So it's going to go from 0.14 to 0.8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 0.22. That's what the interval is. What is that? That's right on the spot. So that, I think that's 8. So I think it's 0.08, 8%. What's that? Let's check, make sure I get this right. C. The width of the confidence interval is twice the margin. Okay. Wish y'all could see these actually after you got done. I don't think you can. Not confident. Suppose a researcher wants the confidence interval to estimate the unknown population parameter. Which of the following is not a correct statement? The endpoints of the interval can vary with each new sample. Well, no, that's called sampling variability. The probability that P is in the interval is equal to the level of the confidence. I don't like that. That has nothing to do with the chances. Remember that, of being in there. It's the method used. Whether the interval captures P is not known. That is correct. It's not known. We don't know that. If the population proportion is fixed, but the sample proportion can vary from sample to sample. Well, that's true. The population proportion is the population proportion, and the sample varies from sample to sample. The confidence interval either does or does not capture P. That's true. It's either 100% or 0%. I like that answer right there. The probability P is in the interval is equal to the confidence level. That is incorrect. That's not right. Okay. Aging bridges. A random sample of 83 residents of a certain town were asked if they approve a proposal. Thus, 95% confidence interval gives me this. Which of the following is a correct interpretation of the interval? There is a 95% probability that the proportion of all residents, that's not true. That's not true. It has nothing to do with a chance. The probability that 95% of the residents is between, no, that's almost the same answer as that. That's not good. We are 95% confident that the sample of 83 will produce a sample proportion. I don't like that. We are 95% confident that the true proportion of all residents in the sample. I don't like that. I'm talking about the sample. We are 95% confident that the proportion of all residents in the town who favor that. Boom. Man, I hope everybody got that right. I hope a lot of y'all got that right. If you didn't get it right, maybe you just read it too darn fast. That's the problem with E being it. Again, I don't want to talk about multiple choices. You're not going to see it. Locally grown foods. A recent survey indicated 73% of respondents include locally grown food diets. 95% confidence interval was produced and given as 0.70 to 0.76. Assume all conditions for the inferences were met. Based on the confidence interval, which of the following claims is supported? Less than half the people include. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if I like that. Less than 70%. Well, no, this is 70 to 76%. Less than 75%. 70 to 76. Less than 80%. Well, I like that. I might like that one. What's this last one? At least 95% of all the people in the country include locally grown food. No, that's 95%. No, I think I like that one. Less than 80% of all people, because the confidence interval goes from 70 to 76. 80 is outside of that. So we believe it to be less than 80. Now, does that mean we can get a sample greater than that 76? Darn right. Does that mean we can get a proportion greater than that? Yes. But the chances of it being out there is very, very, very small. It's not very good. Now, it's not 5%, but outside of that, it's not very good. Okay. And then the last one, number 12, texting, not calling. A recent survey of cell phones users indicate 56% of the respondents prefer cell phones for texting rather than phone calls. That might be higher now. A 95% confidence interval for the estimate of all cell phone users prefer those is margin of error of 3%. Assume all the conditions based on the confidence interval, which of the following claims is supported. Less than half the people prefer texting. No, 65% or 56%. More than half prefer texting. Margin of error of 3%. So I'm really going from what, 53 to 59. I kind of like this. At least 60%. No, it went from 53 to 59. At least 75. At least I think it's that one. I didn't check all these. I hate to see if I missed them. There we go, guys. Your answers from part A of that Unit 6 module. What I'm going to do, again, these are just the answers. You can look at them or not look at them, whatever you want to do. I mean, if I'm at the end of this, I guess you already did. And I'm going to get a Google Sheet and what you guys think about it, what you don't think about it. I just want to know some things that you guys are thinking. I'm here for you guys, man. I told you, rest of this year, guy, is really up to you guys. It's up to you. I got some other things I want to talk about next week about it. Don't want to fill you up with a lot of information yet. We're still a little ways off. All right. I'm going to make a whole new video for part B. It was harder, obviously, from looking at the scores. I'm okay with that though, guys. And I mean, we'll look at it. All right, man. Here we go. Hit stop and stop.